Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning into the Holistic A-Hole podcast. My name is Eric Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole. How in the heck are you doing today? Wherever you're listening to this, thank you for finding me, however you found me. If you're a subscriber, if you're new to the podcast, truly grateful you're here and decided to spend a couple minutes listening to my voice. So it's good to be with you guys, and you probably noticed the title of this podcast, and you're like, what in the heck is the Holistic A-Hole talking about here? Today, I want to get into a discussion, or just kind of run through some thoughts I have on what it's like to be plant-based, or vegan, or even vegetarian, and attempting to eat out at regular ass restaurants. Because boy, oh boy, is that where the vegan rubber hits the road. We're going to talk all about that, the challenges we face, how to overcome them, what I do personally, and I'll even let you know why it's my favorite part about being plant-based. But before we do, I want to just give a quick shout out to all the people who have listened to the podcast before and are returning, or if you're new, just make sure if you're new here, you hit the subscribe button right there in your podcast player, no matter what you're listening on, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, CastBox, Spotify, whatever it is, make sure you got this bad boy subscribed so I pop up in your feed twice a week when I release this podcasts. And then head on over to all my social medias, go over to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got videos coming out every single week. Got a new one coming out this week. Last week had the vegan Trump supporter video. And then we got all the old videos on there so you can catch up to what's going on with me. And all the good stuff I'm talking about, like if you ever had questions about carbohydrates or keto or paleo diets or macronutrients, micronutrients, whatever it is, I do a lot of that on the YouTube, or I answer a lot of those questions on the YouTube channel. And then if you're just like, man, I am so into this podcast, how do I find the Holistic A-Hole's random musing and mumblings throughout the week when I'm not listening to the podcast? Well, funny you should ask, because I have a Twitter page or a Twitter profile or whatever the kids call it, a twit deck. It's at Holistic A-Hole. I'm also on Instagram, which is also Holistic A-Hole, one word. You can find me on Facebook, find the page Holistic A-Hole. Or if you have any ideas for any shows you want to hear, any thing you want to shout out to me, of course you can do that on social media, or you can send me a direct email to holistic.a.hole@gmail.com. Let me know what you're thinking. So here's what we got going on today. Like some of you a-holes know, I was out on the road traveling a little bit last month, and I tend to do that from time to time, get out there in the world and experience the world, and go to random cities. Even here where I live, always gonna be going out to a restaurant. And if you're a plant-based a-hole like me, that can be one of the most challenging parts about being plant-based. I know there's some vegans who listen to this. Look, I was you a little while ago, and as I've said many times on this podcast, I am no longer vegan. And it's not because I can't be vegan or I couldn't do it or it was too hard. I'm not vegan only because I live in 2018 in New York City. I'm out and about all the time. Despite the fact that I can be vegan 100% of the time, I've traveled in other countries and stayed vegan. It just gets to a point where you have to kind of cut your losses and just say, I can't add this to another thing that I need to stress about. That's all it is for me. Being vegan to me is easy. It's really easy. It just simplifies everything. And I'll explain why that pertains to the restaurant deal, especially. but it just makes it so easy, you know? I look at people on these crazy-ass diets, you know, whatever it is, keto, paleo, the South Beach diet, the Atkins, the whole food, the 30 days, the raw till 4, the fucking whatever diet it is people are on. There's just so many rules and regulations and, you know, things to beat yourself up over, you know? This is why the keto people kill me. Because you ever listen to keto people talk, it's like they're NASA scientists trying to break down what they're going to have for lunch. It's like they have little beakers and test tubes and fucking scales and, you know, rulers and protractors, whatever the hell they use to measure what the fuck they're eating. It's just so intense. You know, it's like I have to cut an eighth off this steak here, and, you know, because that's a little bit over my calorie count today. Got to make sure I hit my macronutrient profile in the correct distribution. So I'm kind of hitting it heavy on the protein at the moment, so I'm going to have to cut that down a little bit, scale down the carbs, and get a little more fat. I don't know if I can score some duck fat or maybe some bacon grease, because that also is in the keto diet somehow. Look at, by the way, man, all these people we used to make fun of, bacon grease, it's the cornerstone of the keto diet. Pour a little bacon grease on your salad. Put some butter in your coffee, put some bacon grease on your salad, put some cheese on your fucking beef jerky, and just get ripped. It's so much, dude. It's so much, you know, especially like counting calories, Weight Watchers, there's points. Dude, it's too much, man. When you're vegan, it's very simple. It's just like, does it have meat or dairy? Okay, can't eat it. What do you have that does not have meat or dairy? And what I find is, you know, a lot of times I'll go to these restaurants and, you know, let's say this, they're not making their name on the vegans. They're not, very few people who are opening restaurants, especially if it's a non-vegan restaurant, are sitting here thinking about their ideal demographic, and at the top of that list is vegans. In fact, I'd imagine vegans are probably somewhere at the bottom. Yeah, so let me go back to why I enjoy, what was I saying? Why I enjoy being a vegan. Because it's just not hard. That's really all it comes down to. People make it out to be way more difficult in your mind, you know? I mean, let's face it, dude, with bioindividuality, you know, I was talking about the reason why I bailed on veganism. All these little rumblings all play into that. Why I gave up on veganism. Because it just wasn't hard. It was just like, all right, I can't stress about this. There's too much in the world to stress about, you know? First of all, I got to stress about my own personal career, you know? Got to stress about, you know, job and money and relationship and, you know, am I eating or whatever? Do I have a roof over my head? You know, can I pay my rent? Can I buy groceries? You know, then I got to stress about what's going on in the news. It's like, what did Trump say now? How are all my sports teams doing? Why did we draft this asshole? You know, and then I got to worry about fucking pissing people off on social media. You know, that takes a huge shot to the old, or at least it gets to be time consuming maintaining your social media presence. Then I got to go on Netflix, and Netflix throws out like 8 new movies every 7 hours. So it's like I get into one thing, and then it's like, you know, then there's like a whole new, you know, there's a whole new show that I have to watch that somehow every single one of my Facebook friends watch the entire series within that day. It's bonkers, man. So my point is veganism easy to do? If you absolutely have to do it for health reasons, I totally say you should do it. If you care about the environment, which really we all should, it's really the best diet for the environment. And I would say, really, until I see evidence that this is not true, probably the best diet you can do for your health. And quite frankly, anytime I eat vegan, I feel fantastic. I feel great, no doubt. And I lean towards veganism whenever I can. I'm mostly plant-based. But there's just some times, man, you know, you'll go somewhere and then there's butter in a thing you're eating, you know? Somebody gives you a bowl of popcorn. You're like, this doesn't have butter on it. They're like, what are you, a pussy? I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll eat it. I'll eat the goddamn popcorn. You know, when I was traveling, I thought I was staying as vegan as I could. I was in Southeast Asia, and I just got so sick of freaking pad thai and fried noodles and fried cabbage and fried baby panda bear tears, and I didn't have any of that shit. That's not even vegan. But you get it, man. Everything, I just got so sick of the Thai food when I was in Thailand. And I was like, let me try some just Indian. Indian food just sounded great to me. And I get some dal. Dal is basically lentils. I'm like, this is fucking beautiful, man. I get some dal, straight up lentils. And I was like, man, this dal is amazing. I was just chowing down some dal, and I had some naan. I was going with a little dal naan combo. And had a little pickle platter. That was pretty sick. And I'm just devouring this dal, and it was so freaking good and so creamy. And then it was like the vegan fucking red flag, the nuclear button, you know, fucking red alert siren starts going off in my head. And I was like, it's too good to be true. It's got to be too good to be true. And I just had to ask the server. I didn't want to, but I was like, does this have any butter in it? And he just looked at me. He's like, what are you, a fucking pussy? And I was like, God damn it. I can't win. Even when I think I'm winning, not winning. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Fuck it. I've done all I can. I've done this as hardcore as I can. By the way, the definition of veganism is, this isn't the exact definition. You can look it up. But it's basically, you know, just eat vegetables and plants whenever practicable. That's the big word. What I just said is not the exact definition. You could Google that shit. It will come up in a featured snippet at the top of the page. What I said was not 100% correct, but the part that I do know 100% is in there, it says practicable, meaning you do it when you can. If you can't do it, don't stress it. You know, the vegans in the 70s, like, even they knew it was kind of extreme. And they were like, all right, man, do this when it's practicable. We get it. You live in 21st century or 20th century America. It's very difficult to pull this off. But do it whenever you possibly can. And 99% of the time, that's what I do. But like I said, sometimes a little butter, little fish, you know, sorry, man. I do what I can. If I let you down, you can't worship false idols. That's in the Bible, bro. So, but I will say this. When you go to restaurants as a vegan, I actually really enjoy that part. It can be frustrating at times. No doubt. No doubt. Go to a restaurant and, you know, granted, I'm not talking about going to like a steakhouse and then getting pissed when they don't have anything vegan on the menu, you know. It's not like I've ever gone to Peter Luger's with a chip on my shoulder. Like, hey, can I get a grilled cauliflower steak? And then the fucking waiter looks at me and he doesn't even say anything. He just slaps me in the face. He's like, are you serious, dude? What do you think is happening right now? No, I don't have the gall as a vegan to do that. I know that there's the people who will do that just to make a scene, just to write a shit Yelp review, or like go in and, you know, just be like with a fucking loudspeaker or a blowhorn or whatever and just be like, we're going to eat dogs. I asked for dog. If they have any dog on the menu and they don't have any dog, so this restaurant, I'm complaining about this restaurant. There's a video where somebody does that, by the way. I'm not just making that up out of the blue. Somebody, like, there's these crazy PETA people who go to these restaurants and just harass restaurant owners, dude. And they're like, man, look, like, first of all, the owner's not even here. Second of all, if you're going to get pissed at us, get pissed at everybody. Get pissed at like 90% of the people in the world, because that's how many people eat meat. Stop ruining people's Valentine's Day, you cunt. People do that shit. I don't do that stuff. So when I go to these restaurants, yeah, I'm vegan. Yeah, I'm looking at their menu. No, there's, it's like, oh my God, especially where I live in Queens. You go to a restaurant and it's like European something or South American or, there's Indian, Asian. Those you can find vegan food, but some of these cafes, it's like Greek and I don't know, Polish or, whatever. Then you go down different parts of the street, it's different Middle Eastern. And you go to these places, they're like, you have anything vegan? They're like, vegan? What is vegan? What is this vegan? So they just give you like a plate of lettuce with some chopped tomatoes, and they're like, it's $18. And you're like, you got to be out of your freaking mind. So you look through their menus, and it's like, they have just a 4-page menu, and it's like 2 of the pages are chicken, 1.5 pages, or 1 of the pages is beef, half-page pork, half-page fish, half-page milkshakes, 2 lines for vegetables. Or no, side vegetables, and then vegetarian. And it's usually like 1 or 2 things. And that's the best part, dude, because you're like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm going to get one of those two things. You just made it super easy for me. You just made this a very easy process. It's like, when you go to In-N-Out. Of course, you don't, because you're a plant-based a-hole. But when you used to go to In-N-Out, that's why people love In-N-Out Burger. Because they have like 5 things on the menu. And you just choose one of the 5 things. That's it. That's it. You don't go to these diners and there's like the Bible of a menu. You're flipping through like the first half. It's like you have to flip through breakfast. That's Genesis. Lunch. That's Proverbs, I think. I've never read the Bible. But it's just, it's just a 6-page freaking menu. And you're like, what is going on here? Why is there so much? And all the food is garbage. But as a vegan, you don't have to do that shit. You just 1 or 2 things. And you're like, I've never heard of this thing before. So let's do it. And now it's like in 2018, it's kind of at the point where most chefs and cooks in a kitchen are like pretty hip to this plant-based thing. Especially, really all vegans have done is just replace the whiny old Jewish grandmothers that go to these restaurants. That's all we've done. For years, they were the ones who were going into these restaurants are like, do you have anything without pork or without cheese? Please hold the sour cream. Can we take a little off the wheat? I can't have gluten. I have a peanut allergy. They were the only ones who had all these demands. So cooks have been training themselves. They're like, look, every once in a while, Evelyn Schneiderman is going to come in here and everything you thought you knew about chicken cutlets is going to change. So here's what you do. She's going to order a chicken cutlet with no chicken. All right? That's step 1. I'm going to walk you through this. And now that lady's gone, and it's the vegans who are coming in and asking for the same. Do you have anything without pork? Oh, but it's like more of a hipster. It's like, do you have anything without pork or any like cheese? I need something soy. Do you have any nut cheese? And please make sure it's not runny so it doesn't stick in my beard. Okay. Also, can I get a wet nap for my thick frame glasses? My girlfriend, her beads are falling off her glasses. We're playing bingo while we wait for this. We're 27 and we act like we're 84. Thank you. That's all vegans have done. Vegans have just totally replaced the old Jewish grannies. But but when you're vegan in a restaurant, it's pretty easy, man. If you've been doing it for a while, especially, it's like you're just used to it. You're like, whatever, it's gonna be some crazy. It might be the best thing on the menu, dude. Because what I always tell people is, because the vegans don't have the luxury of just leaning on chicken or beef or like a world famous burger, which are always garbage. If something has the words world famous, just avoid it. Not a good idea. But all these restaurants are like, we got a good burger, we got a good steak. You have to be a complete jackass to fuck up burgers and steak. That's why people don't go to Denny's, because they can't make a good burger or a good steak. They go there for just eggs, because you can't fuck up eggs. You just can't. Eggs the other thing. You can't fuck up eggs. But again, as a vegan, those three things, you don't got to worry about any of that stuff, right? It's like, let me see what you can do with kale. And then they do something. Or they hook it up with sweet potatoes. So that's what it is. It's like people, if they hear you're vegan or plant-based, they're like, what do you do when you travel? What do you do when you go to Chili's or whatever? It's like you just tell them the whole stuff. That's all you got to do. You get what you want. You tell them the whole stuff. And then, a lot of desserts don't have, I take it back. A lot of desserts have dairy. Here's what you do, man. Just fucking buy your own vegan desserts and take them with you. Sometimes you got to do a little prepping. You're going to have to, like, find some good vegan snacks, put them in your purse, put them in your wallet, whatever. You got to bring that stuff out with you, or take a bag of nuts or something, But it is really easy. It is easier than you think to be vegan. And, when I go to these restaurants, a lot of times it's great. A lot of times it's, like, here's an example. Me and the lovely Miss A-Hole went out to we were deciding what restaurant to go to. And we decided to go to a Colombian restaurant close to us. And it was, I'm looking on Yelp for vegan restaurants, and then she pulls up vegetarian restaurants, and, they're like, this Colombian place, they do arepas, which I didn't even know that was a thing. Arepas. They're like Colombian pitas. Crazy. So, I was like, they don't have a vegan menu per se, but they have like plant-based foods. They have like sweet potato stuff and mushroom stuff and beans and all this cool stuff. But it's not a vegan restaurant. It's just, and it was only like, the rest of the menu was like beef arepa, pork arepa, chicken arepa. And then there was like two things on the vegetarian side, like a veggie arepa and then like a veggie bowl. And it's like, all right, well, that's what we're getting, because that's just basically what it is. And of course, people will ask like, well, don't you wish you knew what the chicken and the beef and all that tasted like? No, man. Don't even think about that, bro. Don't even think about that. I had ground beef recently. It just tasted weird. It tasted weird. I mean, once you get deep in the vegan game, you start to kind of have a little bit more compassion for the animals. So it's hard to eat it, because, before I was vegan, I never thought twice. And I saw the animal abuse, the PETA videos. I saw all that stuff, and it didn't faze me. I was like, man, they're really tenderizing that meat. It's going to be a delicious burger. But now, like, I think about it, and it's like, if I have a little meat, even a little butter, like, I can hear the animal crying in my mind. I can feel its torture and its pain, but sometimes it's like, dude, butter is butter, That's just what it is. You got to put that shit out of your head. Otherwise, you'll go crazy. Unless you're a vegan at a normal restaurant, it's quite easy. So I think that answers all the questions that we started with on the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope maybe you got motivated to go plant-based, because I still would preach plant-based. It doesn't matter, dude. I know people tell me about keto and paleo and the wonders of meat and all this stuff, but I err plant-based. So if you ask me, I'll tell you, you should go plant-based. You don't have to go vegan. Go like 90-10, 90 plants, 10 animal. If you can do that, dude, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked at how easy that is to do. Very easy. Very easy. Or 80-20 or 70-30. I think the point where you probably start losing weight is maybe at like the 75-25 or the 80-20, you know? I think if you're doing mostly plant, you're just gonna start losing weight, and you don't lose muscle, you lose just stubborn fucking fat, basically. Uh, and it's easy, but let's not stress about it. Let's not go crazy. Let's just be cool and balanced and holistic, of course. So yeah, I hope that answered everything for you. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you did, go on to iTunes, leave me a 5-star review, put a little nice message in there. And you know what also is fun is if you take a screenshot of the podcast playing in your phone and then put that on your Instagram story or just your Instagram feed or your Twitter and tag me at Holistic A-Hole. Or just go on to Facebook and join the Holistic A-Hole page. And every time I release these, go on and share it with your friends. Tell them all about the Holistic A-Hole, or at least just use some of the knowledge you learn here. Educate yourself and your boys and girls and coworkers and family, or whoever you're around. Give a shout out to the old Holistic A-Hole. Listen to more episodes if you haven't caught up. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for listening. Peace. tank that's very easy to open up. So if you get a chance to float, and then do me a favor. Let me know on the socials how it worked out for you. Send me a line. Be like, hey, man, floating was great. Hey, man, floating was the most frightening thing I've ever done. Hey, man, I floated and I just wrote a novel. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear your experience. Make sure you find me on all the socials to let me know. Twitter @HolisticAhole, Instagram @HolisticAhole, Facebook, find the Facebook Holistic A-Hole page. Shoot me an email, holistic.a.hole@gmail.com. Let me know what's going on. And what's fun to do is take a screenshot of the Holistic A-Hole podcast playing in your player and tag me on your Instagram story or your Instagram feed, whatever it is. So let's connect, baby. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you get a chance, make sure you subscribe, leave a review on iTunes, and let me know what you think of the episodes. Be sure to share this with your friends. Listen to other episodes, catch up, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, y'all. Peace.